What's going on, folks? It's your boy Ill Will HuntingTV reporting live from where the wild things are, and you are now rocking with the best. The Atlanta Hawks are an interesting case study. On one hand, with Trae Young developing into an all-star by New Year's break, and John Collins, someone who I personally believe is undervalued considering his stats the latter half of the year, both guys showed a tremendous level of growth that may have been able to put them in a close race for the final two seeds in the Eastern playoffs this year, if it wasn't for, Collins' suspension earlier in the season. But here's the thing. Outside of Trae Young giving you roughly 30 points and averaging 9 assists a game while shooting almost 44% from the field, and John Collins giving you 21 points and 10 rebounds on 58% shooting post-suspension, I still do not believe they had the right combination of horses nor the experience necessary to rout the more veteran squads of Brooklyn, Orlando, or Washington this year. Vince Carter is gone. Half man, half amazing himself has officially exited stage left. That's a blow in that I believe having someone of his stature serving as the OG of the squad was a great fit. But it's not crazy to think that even in absence of his guidance, the Hawks will cause more than a little noise this year. Let's just say Trae and John Collins continue to develop, which I'm pretty sure is reasonable to assume considering that they have steadily grown each year they've played in the league, and the fact that they're only in their third and fourth year respectively. They now have someone to help shore up the front court with the addition of Clint Capella, a rim-running big man who should mesh nicely with Trae this season. There are some concerns in regards to some of the recent injuries, and there were whispers and suggestions that he is becoming the dreaded injury-prone tag. So I am happy that he had the ability to take what I will term a medical red shirt this season, because yes, I want to see him out there, but if we get him out there, push him too fast, and he injures something else or re-aggravates an existing injury, we're back at square one with a busted product we are now paying millions to watch ride the bench. Next up, we have what I have affectionately started to dub the trio, and that trio is Kevin Huerter, DeAndre Hunter, and Jeff Teague. Kevin Huerter honestly disappointed me this season. I expected, in the absence of John Collins due to the suspension, that he would step up and take a larger role, more volume scoring, more everything. His numbers would just rise. I expected a jump for him this year, and I didn't see it from the Red Rocket. I mean, looking at his stats, they were just not as eye-popping as I would have hoped or were to have liked. I mean, he's averaging 12.2 points a game on 41.3% from the field and 38% from the three-point line, which is admirable. And if he took a couple more shots, I think he's only shooting less than 5 shots a game, taking less than 5 shots a game. If he was taking more, then maybe those numbers would go. But considering he didn't, it definitely kind of hindered him and made it seem like he was handicapped. And again, I'm going to just chalk that up to the absence of Collins maybe affecting that. Him not fully understanding or grasping his role, or just wanting to take that and establish his name. Maybe that just wasn't his personality or isn't in his nature. And it's still too early to assume either way, one way or the other. So I am keenly interested in how he performs this season. I believe it'll be telling, just to see how he progresses or whether he just serves as a decent rotational player. Then we have DeAndre Hunter, whose numbers were 12.3 points a game, 41% from the field, shooting roughly 35% from three, which for a 3-and-D person that they selected him to be, I think is serviceable. It's about what you expected, or what you could expect, as far as best or worst case scenario. I do believe that DeAndre Hunter as a 3-and-D style player is serviceable, but do I think he will make the all-star leap? No. I think his ceiling is what it is, and he will likely end up a solid rotational player. And while that isn't a bad thing, I'm not sure it's what the Hawks were expecting from the 4th pick in the draft of last year. Although, who knows? This time next year, he could be a young Kawhi-like figure in the league, and that would be scary. Teague, a returning player to the city of Atlanta, averaged 10.9 points, shooting roughly 43% from the field and 36.3% from the three-point line, which is serviceable and about what you expect from him around now. I mean, I'm not sure you'd expect more. It's been about what he's been about for the longest. So with that being said, he was drafted by Atlanta back in 2009. And while the team is now under new ownership, he's familiar with the city and really seems to enjoy being here. And I just want to say, I always take something from someone that loves to play for the city that they're in. That means they get the culture, they understand the dynamics, and they want to play there. And that's always good for team chemistry. Just having people that want to play in the city that you're in. Now, I'm sure by now you're like, yo, where's Cam? Why haven't you mentioned Cam? What's going on with Cam? And trust me, I saved Cam for last because I believe Reddish is the key to this team becoming dangerous next year. Now, don't get me wrong. If you look at his stats from last year, I mean, he shot 10.5 points a game, or he made 10.5 points a game, shooting roughly 38.4% from the field and 33.2% from the three-point line, which, I mean, I just said that DeAndre Hunter may be at best a rotational player, so how am I going to be this high on Cam? But in defense of that, I will say Cam's ceiling is, I believe personally, is much higher than Hunter's. And while Hunter is going to come out the gate being serviceable, Cam has the potential to leap that by an infinite amount if he so chooses. He was just starting to turn the corner last season, and although his stats don't quite show it, it was clear he was starting to settle in to the game and the system and the culture itself, similar to how Trey did the year prior. He's hungry to prove the doubters wrong. He heard all of the talking, and now he knows he can compete in this league. And I must say, there's something for coming into something thinking you can do it, believing you can do it, but there's a switch that happens when you know you can do it. And I think any man or woman that's listening to this will understand that. So for all the opposing teams this year, good luck. I will say Coach Lloyd Pierce alongside the GM Travis Slink are doing a hell of a job developing this young team. And Travis Slink is underrated in terms of how quickly he began assembling pieces around Trey. I know there's constant trade talk, but I really believe this team should stay firmly behind its core. We could potentially be witnessing the birth of a talented roster like early OKC with Golden State's success. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to or not wanting to jump the shark or anything, but I am just saying that it is possible. I would be remiss if I didn't mention the 2020 NBA draft scheduled to happen sometime before next year, hopefully, where we stand a good chance of getting a top 4 pick. And I'm going to just go ahead and say, we need to pick Anthony Edwards or ship the pick. Anthony Edwards is a 3-tier scorer that doesn't shy from moments, the big moments especially, and can make for an extremely intriguing backcourt alongside Trae Young and Cam Reddish. And besides, no roster needs a front court rotation of James Wiseman, Clint Capella, Bruno Fernando, and Dwayne Dedmon. I mean, it even sounds nuts saying it aloud. Also, I'm going to just keep it real. I saw an interview of Wiseman a while back where he was asked what he does to stay prepared for the upcoming draft, considering, he was no longer at anyone's college or on anyone's team. And this man said he went to the gym 2 times a week. 2 people. There's 7 days in a week. You are going no later than second or third in the draft. And you can only manage 2 days in the gym? Like, what are you really doing? Homework? You got an exam to take or something? Houseway. I don't know, man. It just didn't sit right with my spirit. I ain't gonna lie. So yeah, I'm big on Anthony Edwards, not so much James Wiseman. Although I will say I am looking forward to revisiting this material post-COVID and on a new season or in a new season and seeing how right and wrong I am in all my statements here today. But as always, it's your boy Ill Will Hunting TV, reporting live from where the wild things are. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me, and I appreciate you. Till next time, peace.